Oh, we're having mic issues. Uh-oh. So there's a chance, I'm guessing, that people can only hear me in stream and not Beaz, in which case, hi. Yeah, can't hear Beaz. Okay, so as with normal AuraCasts, things are probably going to go back and forth in working and not working. So for now, while Beaz tries to figures out what's happening, I'm still going to have him in my ears because of reasons. You're with me. Hi. I can see chat, so I can see what people are saying.
Let's see if that's any better. Can you hear me now?
Can we hear him?
He is here. I exist.
Oh. Way.
All right. Hello. Hi. Welcome. Hi. Anyway, all right. Let me rephrase what I was saying before. So, you know, hi. But don't adjust your sets. I'm saying it again because it made no sense the first time, so why not say it again? I'm aware that this is on the internet and not a 1950s little screen, old school TV type thing. But anyway, it has been a long time since the last AuraCast. I am one of your hosts, DragonBeaz.
And I am the other one, CinderShots.
The other one.
And as you can tell, it's going up and flying start. But you know what? It's fine. It's all good.
So, yeah, this is episode 11. I had to actually look it up. Danny and I looked it up because I had no idea. I thought it was like 10, but it's 11. So, you know, we're in the double digits. I couldn't remember. But anyway, so, yeah. Anyway, we're going to play a little intro. We'll be back in like a second, and then we can just get on to the disorganization that is the AuraCast. Let's do this. Right. I don't know if there was music with that because it's not playing through my headphones because I haven't actually swapped over the AuraCast from Streamlabs OBS to regular OBS, and regular OBS is a little janky sometimes, and so nothing's coming through my headset, but I hope something's coming through your headsets or speakers.
I mean, if it's broken, it's broken. Like, it was bound to happen. How long has it been since the last one?
September.
Oh my god. It's felt longer.
It has in some ways, but this whole year has been that way, I guess.
Yeah, true. Hi, we're back.
Hi. So, I think we need to address the elephant in the room.
Where the fuck have we been?
Exactly. So, here's the thing. Okay, there was music. Oh, that's music to my heart and ears and something else. So, yeah, so it's been a rough couple of months for a few people in Aura Guardians. Life has been challenging for many of us. Between visa battles for me and lockdowns for people in the UK and, you know, people working in the medical industry and
shout out to everyone in the medical industry, by the way.
So it's been rough. So we took a hiatus. The hiatus went a little bit longer than we initially planned, as sometimes these things do.
Yes.
But we are back. The plan is that it will be back to being a weekly thing. You know, there's been a bit going on in the background. The brand new revamped AuraGuardiansTV.com website is back up and running.
Hell yeah. After a long time.
With a lot of amazing brand new professional shiny graphics from the one and only Riley. So it looks amazing. It looks more professional than I'll ever be. And you know, it's wonderful. So yeah. So there's that. There's been a few birthdays since the last time we streamed. Mine, Charming's I think has been. Luke's was yesterday.
2 days ago, mine was. Yeah.
It's all a blur. There's been lots of birthdays and things, so you know that's sort of all been happening in our Discord and that. So that's been fun. We had Horror Week.
Wow, it has been ages.
Yeah, that's how long it's been since we streamed. We had Horror Week back in October.
Horror Week was fun.
Silent hates me, Danny hates me, Pedal hates me, because they all played games that they really didn't want to play. Let's just say Emily wanted to play and aliens decided to hug faces. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, man.
So there was that.
I played Five Nights at Freddy's. That was an
You
experience.
you did. You played The
Uh,
Joy of Creation.
yes, which is a fan game type thing, but it might as well be a main series game.
It was very,
It's
very well
genuinely a
done.
good game, like
Very well
really well
done.
made, and that's the problem. Like I've said it before to different people, but my thing with horror is I love and hate it for the same reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I'm the
as a game,
same.
it's such a good game.
Like as much as because I've played the game I was referring to that Pedal was playing was Alien Isolation, which
Yes.
I've completed twice, and that game is genuinely horrific, but it's so well made that I enjoy playing it.
I have a differing opinion, but hey,
Oh, really?
I don't think it's a good game. I really don't.
What about it?
The pacing is all off, and it's one of those where once you've been jumped once with the occasional like every now and then, oh, I didn't see that coming. After a while, it's just a bit mundane, in my opinion.
The
But
Alien is definitely the star of this. This stuff with the working Joes can get a little bit frustrating and irritating.
pacing is just such a thing for games for me, and if a game is poorly paced, in my opinion, I just won't enjoy it. And Alien Isolation is like not the worst offender because it is still a good game, just not. It could have been better, in my opinion. But
it's still for an alien game, and that it's actually, I mean, graphically speaking, it's gorgeous. Like it looks amazing
for sure.
And it does create atmosphere quite well.
And the voice acting's great.
Yeah, I mean, they got Sigourney Weaver in to record new lines as well, which was a nice little touch. But yeah, so we had Horror Week. What else have we done? We did Charity Month, which some of us were able to raise some money for Extra Life.
Which congratulations, by the way, to everyone that raised money for that. It's amazing that any money was raised in general anyway. So thank you everyone that's got involved with that, because it's money that charity didn't have before. Yeah, and it just helps towards everything. So
and they're an amazing charity. So that was good. I'm also trying to think, and if I'm wrong in saying this, oh well, I'll give them a shout out anyway. Is that we also brought a new team member on? Now I believe that was after the last episode we recorded, and that was when Onyx joined the team.
Yes.
So I think I'm correct in saying that. That's how much time has elapsed that it's all just a blur at this point.
Onyx joined in, I want to say late October.
It was before Horror Week, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Onyx joined.
That would have been mid-October then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome, Onyx, even though it's been like 2 months.
Onyx is an Australian streamer. He's gotten right into Pokemon. That's actually partly my fault because he watched me shiny hunt a lot. And he plays Apex and a few games like that. He's an awesome guy, but if you like watching someone rage at those kind of games, he's the person you need to watch. It's hilarious. He's very good. Oh,
and Danny joined as well.
That was wow. Is that how long it's been? Oh my god. Danny also joined the team. Holy crap.
The show in the background was great.
All right. So Danny, my partner Danny, there's no secret to that. Everyone knows that. My partner Danny also joined the Aura Guardians. Danny is a Dutch streamer who primarily plays at the moment a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Final Fantasy, some Destiny. He sort of dabbles in a lot of different things, but yeah, at the moment he's been playing a lot of Final Fantasy. So, but yeah, so he's nice, friendly. I have to say these things. I live with him. So yeah, I can't believe it's been that long that this was prior to Danny even being on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we disappoint you also. So I have to eat dinner. Yeah, I do. Thank God I'm cooking. So yeah, so that's all sort of the AG stuff at the moment. 2021, there's a lot. We've got lots of plans in the background. We're just getting back in the swing of things now, warming up a bit, and then starting hopefully the new year with a bit more of a bang. I said,
I'll say yes to that, but like I have no idea what's going on in the background. I'm not part of the managerial staff, so I'm just like here, just doing my own thing, like playing Pokemon every now. I've gotten back into Animal Crossing. That's Jesus Christ, that's killed my spare time.
So, well, that was so we've sort of covered the AG stuff. My next thing, I have a bit of a structure in my head, which is probably very dangerous because that's never a case when we do the AuraCast.
What's also dangerous is the fact I have not been told this. So if anything goes wrong, plan B.
We'll just push you under the bus. So, well, it's been a while. So, what have you been playing?
Oh, well, like I have been. Dynamax Adventures came out since last AuraCast. So I'll talk about that briefly. Crown Tundra, absolute 5 out of 5 DLC for me for Pokemon Sword and
Oh,
Shield.
absolutely.
Like Isle of Armor was a bit of a. It was good, but it was story wise, it's just a bit too short.
It lacked something.
But Crown Tundra just added so much and more, and new Pokemon added, which for those that are competitively minded, revamped competitive pretty much.
Yeah.
And the Dynamax Adventures is just a new breath of fresh air in Pokemon, which is amazing. So I've been doing a lot of that. I've been joining in with Beaz's streams.
Before you go any further, we're going to talk about Crown Tundra just for a second here.
Yes.
You have neglected the most important thing about the entire DLC.
Cares about, yeah.
And you know, you can't just skate over this stuff, Luke. You can't do that to me.
Okay, let me say it. I guess Dragonite was added as well. Like,
I literally squealed when I watched that video on stream. It was the one time I decided, you know what, I'll stream the Crown Tundra trailer thing that they put out. And then, like, it was like, it's Dragonite! Literally is my reaction. You know, how can I not react like it?
I mean, you was excited. It's a great thing to see. It's just
you
like, whenever new Pokemon are added, it's a new feeling of, you just know there are so many people out there that have had their favourite Pokemon added. And it's just, like, exciting. My thoughts of a new form of Litwick were broken.
Yeah. That was something that you predicted on one of our...
It looked different in the trailer, okay? That's all I'm saying. But it wasn't, which is fine. But yeah, I have other Pokemon things to talk about later. But Crown Tundra was just amazing. Amazing DLC.
It was very good.
It makes the DLC pack worth buying.
Yeah. I guess that's one thing you gotta look at. When you look at the season pass that you can purchase with the game, which if you haven't got the game at all, you can now buy as one bulk thing, the main game and
physical copy.
And it's a physical copy. Is that you're getting a lot of content as a whole season pass. Yes, Isle of Armor was lacking, but if you join that and Crown Tundra together, it's actually a very, very good addition to the base game.
I mean, Isle of Armor added what I like to call Darren. Now, for those that don't know, Darren is a name I've given to a Galarian Slowpoke.
Oh.
And I will never evolve him. He's become one of my best Pokemon friends in the world. And it was a thing that was added before, but Isle of Armor gave it an evolution into Slowbro. And Crown Tundra gave it an evolution into Slowking.
Yeah, Slowbro's got a, like, clamshell shoulder fist cannon thing.
Yeah.
And the Slowking kind of looks like the shoulder bit down too hard and the blood is rushing to its head, is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's kind of gruesome, actually.
But Psychic Poison is a very cool typing, and I'm interested to see what I can do with it. But that Slowpoke specifically, never evolving it. And like Isle of Armor, in Crown Tundra, you can have Pokemon following you.
Yes.
Having a Galarian Slowpoke very slowly trot towards you in its own time is one of the most amazing and adorable things in existence. So I recommend.
Oh my god! Actually, have you seen the animation for Zarude?
No.
Oh my god! Zarude following you is horrific.
Which form?
No, that's Zarude.
Zarude has 3 forms.
Does it?
It has the dog form, 10%. That's 50%. And
no, you're 20%. You're thinking bloody. It's not Zarude, is it?
Yep, Zarude, because you said Zarude, and because that's the one that one time in one of your streams, you've done Dynamax Adventures, it power constructed.
No, that's Zygarde.
My brain died.
Zarude's the monkey that got introduced. The green. Zygarde is the. Oh my god, Luke.
I've been out of Pokemon for a while.
Wow.
But okay.
It's that new legendary, that monkey, like.
I haven't got him yet because a lot of people have managed to get him and I haven't yet. But how?
But anyway, he's horrific. He's like a spider monkey kind of thing. Like, it's like if Galvantula ran after you, but was like a monkey.
Oh god,
it's weird. It's so bizarre. But anyway, so yeah, Pokemon was a big thing. Animal Crossing's had some pretty expansive stuff.
Yeah.
Which has been really cool. Just come off of Turkey Day, which was interesting. We're about to go to present day.
We got snow coming in the next few days.
Snow,
it's exciting.
Well, in this part of the world, we have snow coming. And then another big thing was Beyond Light came to Destiny 2, which was a massive shift for that game.
Massive expansion, isn't it?
It's huge. I've become very back into Destiny 2. Just a little dig. I'm still ahead of Pedal and Silent at the moment, so I'm feeling really good at the moment.
I'm staying out of that one.
I don't know how I'm managing it, but the 2 Destiny buffs on the team, and I'm like, I'm holding on to my lead. I'm doing this.
Yeah, but you remember, while you're doing this, they have every opportunity to catch up. So,
well, actually, Silent, yes, Pedal's at work, so haha.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry. And then another game that has come out that I've personally gotten very much involved in and dragged a few people into and play quite regularly now is Phasmophobia.
Oh my god. Okay. Shout out to the developers of Phasmophobia, because Phasmophobia has kind of saved the back end of 2020.
Like, Phasmophobia has been an experience.
It's, again, such a good game. Very, very scary at times, but very good game.
I'm looking forward to seeing them expand upon this. This game is still in alpha or beta, one of the two. I think it's
Haven't
alpha.
they recently added new maps?
They are adding 3 new maps. One of them's currently in the it's beta, in the beta, and that's the prison.
Yes.
But they are also adding a mansion and an apartment building.
Oh god, I'm scared to play the prison. Anything prison and horror related, no.
Well, the thing is, like, the asylum, which is the biggest map at the moment. The asylum.
That's a fun map.
That's horrific.
I first played it in a group with my older brother, and the first thing I wasn't told this beforehand. When we walked in, and you use in-game proximity chat, and it echoes, it's so immersive. And so terrifying.
The thing that makes that game work so well is the inbuilt proximity chat.
Yes.
It makes it more immersive.
Oh my god, yeah. It has its issues. The game does have its issues.
But it's also in beta, and they've been addressing those issues as they've been going along too. They've been really good with that, I have to say. They had a lot
social media team is great.
Yeah, and it's been fantastic. But we can talk more about that in depth later on, because it will come up in the discussion later. But there's been some major games and lots of updates for other games, and just it's been a lot coming out. The PS5 has launched, which is still having supply issues.
The Ball Cube has launched. Also,
I was going to say the Xbox is out there doing its thing. There's been a lot going on. So
I want to get a PS5 at some point.
I want a PS5 too. Funny little side story. Danny and I tried to pre-order a PS5 and we're on the waiting list. So we missed the launch, but then we get a text message saying, we've got a controller here for you. What the frick am I meant to do with that? What am I meant to do with that? Am I just going to sit there and look at it and go, this controller would work great with a PS5?
Oh, I almost died.
I said to Danny's like, should we go pick it up? I'm like, what do I want this for? It's going to sit there and tease me that I don't actually have the console. I'll just sit here and pretend I'm playing. I'll watch a YouTube video of a PS5 game and play with my controller and go, look at me
go. My god. That has the same energy of giving your younger brother the controller that doesn't work when your mum says play with him.
I was so just I found the funny side, but I was also so frustrated by that. I'm like, why would you look at that and look at all of our pre-order everything and go, okay, we can't give you the console or any of the accessories, but we do have a controller. Would you like it?
That is amazing.
I'm not salty at all.
Oh no!
I was so angry. Like,
well, the reason they said that they had issues with a lot of orders was to try and prevent against a lot of scalpers being able to sell off PlayStations.
Yeah.
So I understand. It's just a shame that a lot of innocent people got stuck in that, but it's the best they could have done to prevent people from selling them off 6 times the price.
Mount it on the wall. Sure. Just dream of a better time when I actually have a console to play.
Rip. Yeah, it's the best Sony could have done. Because I don't get why people would do that, and they set up bots to buy them and then just sell them off for $1,800 each.
They were doing the same thing with the 380 graphics cards.
Really?
Yeah. That you can't get them either because people are buying them and then selling them up big time. I know lots of people who pre-ordered them because all these scalpers got hold of them. And some of them were also just falling off the back of trucks, if you catch my drift too. There was a whole thing about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's like, all right.
A lot of clips going out with different delivery companies where
Yeah.
people like scan them and then just keep them for themselves.
Dodgy stuff. So yeah, so that's been the last couple of months of gaming. Now we are coming to the end of the year, which means typically around this time of the year, smooth segue, we have awards ceremony type things going on, and obviously the one that's most publicized at the moment and the most talked about is the Game Awards.
Yes.
For those who didn't see Luke's very subtle hint on Twitter.
Well, shout out.
I did like the answer.
Someone who replied, "Oh, game swears, I'm down."
Game swears. That's every time I play Crucible in Destiny 2.
But yeah, the Game Awards 2020 is now officially here. For the players, the Gamer's Voice Award or something like that. It's in the second round. But for Audio Awards, nominations are up and people can vote out of the ones that are nominated. And I think it'll be fun to go through each of the awards, say what's nominated and what we think or what we hope will win, because I've made my votes.
Well, I haven't voted yet. I've seen the nominees, but I haven't actually officially voted. I have got my scribe in the background recording both yours and my guesses, so that next week when we come back, because the awards is happening sometime in the next 7 days. I don't remember the exact date.
Before the next AuraCast.
Before the next AuraCast, and we'll see who was closest, because I think there's going to be some that Luke and I probably agree on very much so, and there's going to be some that we completely disagree on. So we are going to go through all the categories. There are some we'll probably skip over quite a bit because things like esports hosts and stuff like that doesn't really click with most of the people in Aura Guardians aren't that much into esports, so I don't,
I've still made my vote because I know a few things here and there, so...
But, so I'm just starting at the bottom of the list I've got here, so if it's not in the same order that you've got, Luke, well, you'll just have to deal with that.
Cool, I guess you... Okay, one thing I will say before we start, if somehow this shambles of a podcast ends up getting to anyone behind the people that made the Game Awards website, it's so poorly optimized for phones. It is so bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really not a good voting system on the mobile. It's really hard to function with. It's really hard to read. It's really awkward.
Yeah, but I've got it up anyway, so hopefully it's in the same order. If not, I hate you bees. But we'll see.
Oh, hang on. Let me just fix that. Not that I really want to encourage that person having a sword, but there you go.
You sure you want to give him that power?
I'm already regretting it, but that's all right. So we will cover esports first because that's actually first on the list.
You sod. All right.
Yeah, it's just the way it's ended up on this list, So, first thing is the esports teams. So Damwon Gaming, Dallas Empire, G2 Esports, San Francisco Shock, and Team Secret are the nominees. I don't know. I'm not going to actually vote in any of these because I have no idea. Actually, no, I will. I'm going to pick Dallas Empire only because my good friend Reach is voting for them, and sure, why not?
I thought I voted, but apparently not. But I went for G2 because G2 is a team that I've been seeing make so many moves on social media, at least in the last half of 2020, because they come back out of nowhere after like a hiatus for God knows how long, and they've just kicked ass since coming back.
It's probably because they've got nothing better to do because everyone's been locked inside.
Who has?
There's more people wanting to play now, so it's like, oh, well, there's not a shortage of us now, so we could just do an esports team again. Sounds about right. 2020 in a nutshell.
G2 for me.
So then we've got esports. So these we'll quickly go over because I don't know enough about it. Luke knows a little bit, but it's still, So esports host. So I'm not going to use their full names. I'm just going to use their names that are in the little bracket things. So you've got Golden Boy, you've got Machine, you've got Jokes. I don't know how to pronounce that. Jogsy or whatever. Dash and Shiva. Well, I'm going to go Golden Boy because that's the only name I know on that list.
Same for the same reason. So yeah.
Esports game. Okay, I can talk about this one a little bit because it's talking about the game, not the people, the games. So the 5 nominees for esports game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Valorant. Okay.
Are you going first or am I?
You can go first.
So a lot of the nominees here are here for good reason because they're all as regards to esports circle. Again, we'll quickly breeze over this because not many people are into it, but purely because of the amount of money the prize pool always has and the reach and the audience it always has for many years and still will. League of Legends, because it's still, to my knowledge, the biggest esports event every time it's on.
If I had to go with games that get talked about more often than not, and that have had a fairly consistent year, maybe not this last few months, but overall, I would probably go with Valorant. I wouldn't say Fortnite. Fortnite's gone into a weird little.
Yeah,
I don't know how Fortnite is going on an esports level because it's just gone so bizarre in what it's doing.
a lot of it's charity games now.
Yeah,
From
so
what
I
I've
don't
seen.
think Fortnite. I'll be honest with you, I'm actually kind of surprised to see it on the list this year.
I'm not surprised because it's still popular, but like esports wise, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From an
yeah,
esports
true, yeah,
perspective, I'm surprised it's on the list. If you'd
yeah,
said like multiplayer or battle royale game, yeah, of course, Fortnite's going to be on the list. But
yeah.
it just surprises me it's on the list. So yeah, no, mine would be Valorant out of all of those. I can understand your thought process with League of Legends, though. I do get why that would be why you would sort of go down that path. But I don't know. I just got this feeling maybe Valorant might just edge ahead with it a little bit.
Mm.
So esports events. So there's the Blast and Premier Spring 2020 European Finals, Call of Duty League Championship, IEM Katowice, League of Legends World Championship, Overwatch League Grand Finals. I'm surprised Overwatch wasn't on the other list, but anyway.
Same. While I can understand if people voted for Overwatch Grand Finals because that always gets a lot of viewership, for the same reason I said before, I'll just quickly breeze over it. World Championship League of Legends, I reckon, because of the audience size.
I will side with you on that one. Out of the audience size, yeah, I'll side with you on that one. I actually think that would probably be the out of all of those, it will be that or Overwatch.
It's just such a well documented, like publicized event. Plus, you have like because it's a very heavy like Asian advertised market as well.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of popular Asian players. You get like K-pop bands performing on stage, and like all sorts of shows before the actual match themselves, and it's just so fascinating to watch every year.
What do we got here? Okay, esports coaches: Zonic, Krusty,
Unfortunate name.
Grabs, Zephyr, and Rambo. I'm gonna go with Rambo just because if that was Sylvester Stallone, it'd all be stuffed.
I mean, you can't break that logic. I went for Rambo because just a COD coach. He's the only real one I've heard a lot of.
Oh, well, there you go. Esports athletes, you got Crim6, Showmaker, Canyon, Shotzi, and Zaiwu.
That was probably racist, but go on.
Well, no, it wasn't. No, it's like Zygarde, Zaiwu.
Okay, fair enough. So again, Call of Duty, Shotzi for me because again, popularity. That's all I'm basing it on. I don't really know much of.
I'm gonna go with Zaiwu because I like the name. Like I said, esports is something we're just going to skim over because we don't really. Yeah. So, all right, now we're getting into stuff that we can talk about. Content creator of the year.
Oh God, okay. We was going from the bottom of the list for me, and I've got to find this one again.
Yeah.
Never found it.
So, content creator of the year.
Oh, there are so many good ones here.
Alana Pierce, J. Ann Lopez, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, and Valkyrie.
So many good. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. If there's anyone who deserves... There's two people here who deserve it in my eyes, but there's one person I would vote over the other. The two people, I think, is either Tim the Tatman or Alana Pierce.
Yes.
I want Alana Pierce to take it. Alana Pierce has had to endure a ridiculous amount of crap this year.
Yeah.
On a serious level. And she has been such a stalwart of the gaming scene that it would be nice to see her get her recognition and give some of these twats who have been bullying her and disrespecting her get their comeuppance.
Yeah. So, like, if a lot of PS did get it, I'll be very happy because of those reasons. I think that she's put up with a lot. That is not the person I went for though.
Oh yes.
But my two were also the same as yours, but I went for Tim because everyone knows him. Everyone knows, like, he's just a very entertaining person to watch. He's gotten involved with so many events. He's been the face of many events, like advertising as well. And he's a well-known name.
Yeah.
If you go to 90% people on Twitch and ask if they know him, chances are they're going to answer yes.
Oh, of course.
And he's put his foot in the door of many different aspects of content creation.
Absolutely.
Whether that be streaming, videos, behind the scenes, event management, like everything.
Yeah.
So I'd be very happy if Alana got it. But the person I voted for personally was Tim. But either one, I'm very happy with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tim's had a huge impact this year as well.
Yes.
He's done a lot. He's been everywhere. So either or of those would be fine with me. That would be, perfectly fine. Now we're moving on to the actual stuff I want to talk about because it's gaming stuff. So we're starting.
Heads up, this is probably where a lot more conversation is going to happen. So if you want to get involved in this conversation in chat, please do.
Oh, absolutely.
I do want to see people's opinions, but yeah, this is where a lot more discussion is going to happen.
Right.
Apologies if it runs over.
We're starting with multiplayer games.
Yes.
I have a few issues with a couple of things on this list.
Oh, snap. All right.
But I'll get to that in a minute.
Drama.
So, firstly, here are the nominees. So, we have Animal Crossing New Horizons, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, and Valorant.
Before anything's said, let me just say that all 5 games on this nominated category deserve to be here for one reason or another.
Correct. I agree with you there.
I'm going to let you go first, actually. I know you went first before, but I'm going to let you go first.
Now, my opinion is that games that are getting nominations, especially in these kind of categories, should be games that were released in the year that they were in there. So why is Among Us on this list?
I can see that. It was released in 2017 or 2016?
2018 it was released.
2018.
Yeah.
Fairly still recent game, but like I understand. I think it's in this list because it's had a surge popularity this year.
But I mean, but it's like
played it and then it.
But it's like if you watch the Oscars and a movie from 3 years ago got an Oscar this year, everyone would be up in arms. Is that the same concept that they're going for with the Game Awards, basically? Because they've got another category where it's like best ongoing game. Okay, if Among Us was in that, cool. I understand.
If Among Us was in that, they'd lose.
Like, well, yeah, there's so many others that should get that. But, so that's my only gripe with it. Yes, it's had a big impact this year. Every game on that list has had an impact. I have played 3 out of the 5 games there.
I have played...
You've probably played 4?
4 of them, yes.
I'm assuming you haven't played COD.
I haven't played Fall Guys.
You haven't played Fall Guys?
No, I've never played Fall Guys to this point. I never got it. Warzone, I tried. As a game, I can't deal with it. I don't like it. I don't like how it plays. It's not a bad game. It's a great game, but it's not for me.
How have you not played Beans jumping around on an obstacle course? Come on.
For the same reason that I won't play it now. And this is probably going to annoy a lot of people, especially people in comments on YouTube. I think, again, the social media team behind the game, amazing. Whoever runs it, they need a raise times 3. And the developers behind the team have made a great game. I don't see it living long into 2021.
No, but I must say, I also think the same thing about Among Us.
I beg to differ. Among Us was released in 2018. Any game can be found. I don't think Fall Guys is going to get a resurgence in popularity like Among Us did.
I guess it also depends on if there's a resurgence of people. See, Among Us came back because a few big streamers got onto it and started streaming it, and then it trickled down from there.
But it's still getting popularity. Yes, it's not as many players now, but it's still popular. And
I didn't get into Among Us as much as most people have. I have my gripes with it. It's not a great game to stream unless you have a good way of doing it. And you have to be the kind of person who can maintain a level of entertainment when you're not talking to each other about what's happening in the game, if that makes sense. It's a tricky one to stream.
I love streaming it though. It's great.
See, I'm the opposite. I hate streaming it.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I streamed it a couple of times, and our group of friends was very much the same. It's like, no, we can't. It's just not. It's not an enjoyable game for us to stream.
I understand completely that people lose interest in it. It's definitely not a game I could stream purely. Like there are some people that stream it nonstop, make videos nonstop on the game, and I couldn't do that. But I don't think it's a game that's ever going to come to a point where I don't like it. It's just going to be a game I play less. And I will say, I'll just say it now, because of those reasons, for best multiplayer, my vote does go to Among Us. Now, that might surprise, considering a lot of games on here are deserving of the award. But as a multiplayer game, it's so, like, the energy that goes into it when people play it in a group. And it's so, there's no game on this list, even though there are some that are very close. Animal Crossing, for example, is great in terms of what you're playing.
My issue with Animal Crossing being on this list, as much as it's fun to visit each other's islands and that, it's limited in what you can do on a multiplayer level.
Yeah, it's not a multiplayer focused game like Among Us or Warzone is. And I wouldn't be sad if Warzone got this award, but it's a multiplayer centric game, and as functionality as a multiplayer game goes, Among Us has it nailed down perfectly, in my opinion, because it's all based on if people are playing. That's all it comes down to, and the interaction is there. It's so fun because everything you do results on communication with other people.
Yeah.
And whereas like in Warzone, you could have squad mates, for example. You could go off on your own. You could still succeed. Very rarely, but you can. Fall Guys, everyone's in it for themselves, pretty much. Valorant is probably the closest to win, in my opinion, behind Fall Guys, because it has that team aspect and it's just purely that. Animal Crossing, amazing game, but not as a multiplayer.
It won't win multiplayer. No. If it does, it's not because it's a good multiplayer. It's because of the popularity behind it.
Yes, and we'll get to Animal Crossing later on. But multiplayer, my vote goes to Among Us for that reason.
If I'm gonna go down the path of and from what I have experienced in playability and multiplayer and enjoyability in that, I'm probably gonna go Fall Guys just because the few times I'm terrible at it. I'll admit that, but I think it's still got. I think it's going to be like a few other games where a new season comes up and people will play it for a good couple of weeks and then it will lull, and then another season will come up and they'll play it for a few weeks and it will lull. I think that's what people are clamoring for with these kind of games, is when a new season comes out and new cosmetics and new, levels and obstacles and everything else, it does have a resurgence. My concern is with Among Us is that you can only they've either got to start coming up with more mini games in it, or they have to come up with some really interesting maps to really improve upon it. I know they're on the verge of releasing more maps, which will be good, but it's very limited from that perspective. So if they can expand upon that, which I think is what they're going to do, because they stopped development on a sequel because of the one, the original suddenly going, haha, I'm here. So my vote will go to Fall Guys. But yeah, it's an interesting category because a few of the games I'm being nitpicky. If this was any other award show or any other awards thing, it would be for this year. But I also understand the concept of, okay, Among Us has suddenly had a resurgence, or not a resurgence, it's appeared. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
I just think, just quickly end off on it, I think Fall Guys is very meme centric on its content and its advertising. And the issue with that is memes have a very short life cycle. For 99% of the time. If they're going to keep focusing on that, which they're all no right to, because it's how they get the game out, it's hilarious. If they focus too much on that, which I feel like they've gone past that point, once the meme of, oh my god, Fall Guys, haha, dies off, so will the game. I think the fact that Among Us has had a resurgence after being released, the fact it's still getting content because of its popularity, and it's going to get a sequel, and it's got a dedicated team behind it, I think Among Us, even though it's been out for much longer, has a longer life than Fall Guys does. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting, development. And I guess it also comes down to a lot of these things have come out at a time when people have the ability to play them and have spare time. So when it goes back to eventually being some sort of level of normality, how are these games going to survive when you need the people to do it? It's going to be an interesting one, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, next up is sports and racing games.
Yes.
Bit out of my category, I must say, but let's go into it. So we have Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to go for nostalgia-ish type factors, my vote's going to go Tony Hawk, and the reason being, it was something that people wanted.
Yes.
And it's something that people were really after. I mean, as much as I don't play sports games, back in the day when they were an original thing, oh yeah, I played them because they were just stupid and fun and zany and, you know. Yeah. If there was a WWE game on there, like 5 years ago, circa 5 years ago, I would vote it if there was a WWE, because there's no WWE game, but if there was a WWE game, I wouldn't have voted it for
There's 2K Battlegrounds, which looks like a pile of shit. So...
Yeah, but it's comedically so. They went down that path because they can't develop a proper game to save their life anymore for some reason.
I just want 2K to give the game back. That's all I want.
So, but yeah, so that's them. I would go for Tony Hawk simply because of the nostalgia factor there.
Mm-hmm. So, all the games here, for their purpose and what they aim to achieve, I can't speak for all of them, but seem to achieve it well. FIFA has always been a popular series. Not my kind of thing, so I'm not going to vote for it. NBA, same again. The last three, we'll start with Dirt. Dirt 3, when it came out, was one of my favourite games of the year. It was a very fun game. I love that kind of game just in general. And it's very intense, but had a fun part to it. The issue with the later Dirt games, what I had with Dirt 4, I haven't played Dirt 5, so I can't comment, but they went so far in simulation that for me, it's no longer fun. It's more of a task, which is why it's not really my type of thing. F1 games, for me, have always been fun. I wish I could keep up with it as a sport anyway. I do every now and then, but I love Formula 1 racing. I think it's great. It's great to watch, great to get interactive with, and the games, for the most part, are good. F1 2018 was a shambles, but 2020 looks great. But I have not played it, so I can't comment. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 2, I don't know if you've played it much.
No. Oh, not that, yeah.
I have. It's on my Epic Games list. One of the very few reasons I still use the Epic Games client. I didn't play much of the original one, but Pro Skater 2 I played a lot of when I was younger. Someone like me, surprise. And this remake, not only did it get everything about the original games perfect, it added onto it in the perfect way as well.
Yeah.
It captured everything that made the old game good and made it better somehow. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, the old one, remains one of the most popular games ever.
Yeah.
And for good reason, highly rated on Metacritic, I think.
Yeah.
This remake nailed it.
Yeah.
There's not a bad thing I can say about the remake. Literally. The leveling up system's great. The creator park is better than it ever has been. It's just fun. That's what you need in the game, especially in this year. It's just fun. And it captures what the game used to be. Great game.
Fair enough.
That's all I can say.
So what are you voting for?
Tony Hawk.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the sport racing games. Next up is sim and strategy games.
Yes.
So we've got Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and XCOM Chimera Squad.
I can't comment much on this category, but I do have a comment. But I'll let you go first.
My vote's going to Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's a number of reasons. One, it's an incredibly realistic experience.
Yes.
Two, the people who have been able to create content out of that on a very humorous level, there are people being legitimately running like the game as if they were actually doing these flights.
I watch those videos every now and then. They're great.
And it is the most brilliant, like, just weirdest experience to see these people literally basically flying a plane from their home. It's really cool. It graphically is stunning. And like I said, it's created some interesting content. So out of all of those, I think, to fit the sort of simulation sort of stuff, yeah, that would be where my vote would go.
Same. Like, I have not played any of the other games, so it's a bit unfair. I've looked into Gears Tactics, but it's not a game. It looks like a good strategy game, but I'm not a massive strategy game lover. The last strategy game I really fell in love with was Civilization 5.
Oh, yes.
Civ 6 was good, but 5 is just better in my opinion. But as strategy and sim, since it's both combined, which is a little bit unfair in my opinion, Flight Simulator takes it by a landslide. The old Flight Simulator, Flight Simulator X, and the Steam edition were, as simulation games, good. It never had a sequel for ages, and it was so old, but still lived up.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to happen with this one as well. This game is going to continue to be played for years and years on end. Even the old game, people made setups. Have you seen some Flight Simulator setups?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love the creativity that some people come up with in these things. It's just amazing.
And some of the stuff people do in multiplayer servers, it's so in depth.
It's crazy.
When you talk about immersion, probably one of the most immersive sim games you could ever get. It's very hard to pick up if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But for playing fanatics, which there are people out there that are, yeah, it's a must. It's a must get.
So, this is another interesting category. So we're on to family games.
Yes.
So there are six nominees in this category. We have Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4: It's About Time, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario: The Origami King.
I want to preface this by saying that the description for this category says, for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. For that reason, I don't know what your vote is, but for me, that instantly ruled out Fall Guys, and I'll explain why. That shit's stressful, man. That you're not going to get.
I wouldn't vote for Fall Guys in this category at all.
No, you're not going to get families to play that, and if you do, they're not going to like each other for very long. No.
Mario Kart Live is just we talked about that game on, I think, the last AuraCast.
Yes.
And we were talking about the fact that, because you hadn't heard about it at that stage, remember? No. And I told you about it, and it's literally Mario Kart set up in your house. And it's like augmented reality stuff.
I will say, I've seen videos of that game.
It's well done. Yeah. I don't know how they've done it, but usually they're shit at this thing, I must say. Usually
AR games have a very bad reputation for good reason.
This is done really well. Do I think it should be Family Game of the Year? No.
And I'll tell you why. It's way too expensive.
It's very expensive. If you want to go down something that the family can enjoy, sure. But if your family doesn't want to eat for the next month, sure. It's so expensive. It's a
shame as well, because it looks really good, and I want to get it eventually.
Like, each car is like $100 and something. Each car.
It's a good thing the game's free.
What's that?
It's a good thing the game's free.
Oh, exactly. But like a family of 4, if you want 4 people to play, you've got to buy 4 cars.
Fucking hell.
So that's $400.
Oh, Nintendo.
It's okay, kids. We're not going to eat for the rest of the month, but you can play Mario Kart in the dining room instead, because we're not using it to eat anymore because we spent $400 on these things.
Made a new obstacle. It's a ribcage that you lost from nothing.
It's so expensive. Oh my god. Anyway, so there's that. Paper Mario, I also don't think that is a family game in this category. I don't see how that can be enjoyed as a family. Those games are difficult.
Yes.
I just don't see how that fits.
It's very charming, but it's still an RPG game.
I also don't see Crash Bandicoot 4 being in this category.
I disagree.
It's a great game, but I've seen people play this game, and it's the hardest Crash Bandicoot game I've seen.
A lot of the OG Crash Bandicoot games are hard, but I have memories of me and my brothers coming together to play Crash Bandicoot games on the PlayStation to try and get past levels. It is one of the most fun things in existence. Crash has always been a fun game for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it somehow keeps, even in 2020, the embodiment of, quote, couch co-op, couch gaming. You can just you can't now, but like get family members, get friends to sit with you and just see if you can beat the game, and it's just fun. It's charming.
I guess the really hard thing for this category, which is really strange in this year, considering how like isolated people have been at home, is that there's not your typical family games in this category because none of them have come out this year.
Yeah.
There's no Mario Karts. Forget Mario Kart Live Circle. I'm talking a traditional Mario Kart.
Yes.
There's no sort of Mario Party game. There's no, actually, I'm surprised it's not on the list potentially. Things like Jackbox and that. Those are the kind of games.
That's a good point, actually.
Like Jackbox had Party Pack 6 come out this year.
Yes.
Or 7, I can't remember. They've made so many at this
6,
point.
I think.
But either way, so it's been a tricky year for those kind of games.
No family game has come out. No great family game has come out this year, but one.
Go on.
It is on this nomination list, and it is my vote, and it is Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing has always been a game, especially on the Switch version, where people just come together and just do what they want.
It's very family friendly. It's very
Yes.
It's very innocent in that way.
And it has the functionality on Switch where it was a bad thing it's a thing that I was confused about first. It's one island per Switch, so multiple people could play the game, but it was all on the same island. I thought it was a bad thing at first, but the idea of like, even if you have just one controller or one set of Joy-Cons, one person could play for a while and their relative, sibling, whatever, could come on and contribute to the game, even though they're not playing together at the time, because it's on the same island, it's the same world. And if you do manage to be able to play with people at the same time, it's a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
It's one of the most genuine, wonderful, time-killing, loveliest games. I love this game so much. I pre-ordered it. I was excited up until release, and since release, I've still loved it. There have been lulls.
Yeah.
But it's a game where I picked it up again recently, and I love it just as much as I did when it came out.
It's charming.
Yeah.
And not as in bow tie, as in game. So
I think my vote.
I 100% agree. Out of everything on this list, I would have to go with Animal Crossing simply because of that factor. There's a lot of reasons why the others for me just don't click in this category. It's a tricky category this year for some reason. As I said,
I'd say the closest is probably Minecraft Dungeons for the similar reason.
Yes, yeah. I was going to say Minecraft Dungeons was a very left field sort of game in that it's Minecraft, which is, one of the most popular games on the planet still.
Yeah.
But it then also turned it into what it is, a dungeon crawler type thing. So it's cool. I like it. So fighting games.
My field. I love fighting games.
Well, you're going to be very much on your own in this one because I have no idea. So we have Grand Blue Fantasy versus Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter V Champion Edition, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows.
Best title.
Okay, I feel like, I know these are probably two separate games, but I feel like this is a bit of a weird thing. Under Night in Birth, and then Under Night in Birth EXE Late something or other.
Bracket CL-R first bracket.
Okay, firstly, what a shit title. Second, let's just put that out there. Like that's so. Secondly, what is that? Is that a sequel? Is that
so? A lot of these fighting games are, to put it simply, use a professional term, anime as fuck. And Under Night in Birth is one of them. As is One Punch Man, obviously.
Yeah.
As is Grand Blue Fantasy. Grand Blue have had 3 or 4 fighting games, if I'm not mistaken, and they've all had that kind of like aesthetic. The only 2 that branch out from that in this list are Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat for obvious reasons. The rest of them are anime fighting games, which is great. Grand Blue, I've never played any of them, but they do look good. Just from looks alone, I'd be tempted, but because I haven't played it, I just can't. One Punch Man and Under Night, I've not played either of them, don't know anything about these games, so no. Now, when it comes to Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, that's been a rivalry forever.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's going to come down to those 2 again.
That's been a rivalry since the 90s, and it just has been since. I have played games in both series, multiple games in both series. Me personally, just on a personal standpoint, I'll move on in a second, but Street Fighter feels a lot more clunky to play. It just doesn't feel very user friendly to play.
Mhm.
You see professional championships in both games, and it's amazing how they can do what they can do. I get to flex a little bit now, even though I wasn't very great. When I was involved in it's a very small esports organization once, I was a Mortal Kombat 11 player at one point. I was very crap compared to other people, but I was there. And some of the things that people came out with are amazing. But Mortal Kombat's always been fun to play, in my opinion. Very graphic.
I would have gone. Oh god, it's graphic. I would have personally, I would have gone with Mortal Kombat as well. I've not played 11, but I have played Mortal Kombat games in the past, and I've enjoyed them, even though they're not my kind of genre.
MK11 Ultimate is another game I pre-ordered. In this year, I forgot it came out this year. Did it come out this year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But it's a game I pre-ordered.
2020's been going for about 10 years, in case you hadn't realised.
It's a game I pre-ordered. It's a game I'm very happy I pre-ordered. I haven't played it in many months, but I have loved the Mortal Kombat games, more so since Mortal Kombat 9, when the whole series got rebooted, so to speak. And
it didn't come out this year. When did it come out?
Last year, then.
Must have been last year, then.
Yeah, but Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, everything coming together, is this year, technically.
Okay. Did Ultimate come out this year then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's where it gets a bit. So there's once again, it's that whole like. All right, I'll leave it a go. I'm just okay.
I forgot how April last Jesus. But yeah, it's always been a fun game. It's a bit. Mortal Kombat 10 was the fastest Mortal Kombat game to my knowledge. Like, it's very fast, hits, combos, that sort of thing. Mortal Kombat 11 slows it down, not as slow as 9 was, but a bit slower towards that direction. And I was a bit worried about that because the flow of Mortal Kombat 10 or X was my jam. But Mortal Kombat 11 feels so nice to play. It is so good, and the characters are awesome. The story was great, which I had doubts on because it was time control, which you do if you mess that up, it just ruins whatever you're putting it in. But it was done so well. It was just a good game. It still is.
Yeah. So my vote's definitely gonna go to I've gone blank. Mortal Kombat, that's the one. So we'll go with that.
Either your mic's gone quiet for me and slowly turning down, or an issue on this side. But
yeah, my mic's gone really quiet.
I don't know why.
Hang on.
It was like it was being slowly turned down.
What the heck?
I was going to keep talking anyway. Yeah, Mortal Kombat, amazing game. And Ultimate came out for the new consoles, I believe. But the fact it's still got such a... I mean, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter have got such dedicated audiences. But Mortal Kombat is just has that edge. It's just so much nice to play. It's one of those easy to learn how to master kind of games. And for me, it's just such a good game. Daddy. The technical difficulties you get for free. I mean, facts. We knew something was going to go wrong. But yeah, everything's in my control now since I now can no longer hardly hear beats. So yeah, Be's very happy about that. But it is now under my control. I don't even know what Be's vote was for. I think he said Mortal Kombat. I mean, methinks. But yeah, Grand Blue looks so good. It genuinely looks so good. But Mortal Kombat just gets it. Mortal Kombat understands what makes a fighting game a good fighting game. He did? Okay, cool. Street Fighter just seems a bit clunky and a bit rough around the edges. Even though it's as polished as it's ever been. But as a fighting game controls, it's just not my thing. Not my thing at all. But yeah, now we just wait to see if Bees can actually fix things. Oh, I've got burps. Oh, Jesus. How's that time already? My God. I can't wait for this to be on Spotify and YouTube and people get to witness the technical difficulties. Oh, it's gonna be great. Oh,
Is that any better?
very, very slightly louder, but you're still very quiet.
Why? Why is it doing this?
Oh, keep talking.
Yeah, but that involves me yelling.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that
It-
better though? All right. I'll talk a bit closer to the mic and yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit better now, but because you are close to the mic.
Well, you know, I shouldn't have. Oh God, there it goes.
Oh, hello.
All right, we'll see how it goes. All right,
Right,
cool.
come back a bit again.
Hello.
Just sit how you were normally and speak again.
Oh wow.
Okay, it's fixed.
I don't know what happened then. It's just tech problems. It's probably slobs.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
We just finished some fighting game.
All right, we're moving on. RPG. RPG is Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royale, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Do you want to go first on this one?
Okay. I'm 50-50 split.
Oh, okay.
I'm 50-50 split between two games. Persona 5 Royale and Genshin Impact.
Mm-hmm.
Reasons being, Persona 5 has a huge following. Persona, the game has done exceptionally well. It's very well made. Genshin Impact is something that has come from nowhere and is so popular. Yeah. Everyone's comparing it to Breath of the Wild, actually, in a lot of ways, with just other elements.
It is similar in a lot of ways, but not in a bad way.
No. So I guess, you know, if I had to go down the path of popularity versus gameplay as well, I'd probably have to give it to Genshin.
Is that your vote, though, for sure?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to say same. Now, I'm probably going to annoy a few people with this. Final Fantasy VII Remake, in my opinion, I'm saying this on a place called the internet. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but on this list of best role-playing games...
We've only just come back and you're going to get us
canned. You've just come back. Actually, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's fine.
That's what I mean. What do you mean, where I just come back? What does that mean?
About technical issues.
Oh, no. I'll never come back from those.
Same. Final Fantasy VII Remake does not deserve to be on this list, and I'll explain why. It's remade, sure, but with a remake, you either capture what the game was, or try and do that and add something new to it, right? Final Fantasy VII, it does capture it. It's what the game is, and like cutscenes are very nicely polished and everything, but like, it's just something missing. It's just something missing with it from what I've seen. Granted, I just want to clarify, I've never played it. I've not played the remake, and I don't think I've completed the original game once, and it's been a long time ago. There's certain Final Fantasy games that I like, and others, well, I'm not too well versed in the series, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the remake, when it was coming out, and even when it was released, it's one of those games that I just... Sorry, Lani. It was one of those games that I just didn't care about.
Somewhere Lani's cringing.
Somewhere, like, half the internet's cringing. Half the internet's got pitchforks. But no, it's just no. Something about it, just no. Persona 5 Royal, I understand why people like it. It looks very good. Never played it, can't comment. Wasteland 3 Wasteland 3 I've never heard of. And Yakuza, I don't understand the interest, although, again, I've never played them. Genshin Impact. Oh boy. Genshin has sucked the life of many a person throughout the whole time it's been released.
Andy Ari.
Oh, chanting in the distance. But
if there's one thing that's taken, just for those you don't know, Anne is one of the members of the Aura Guardians. Yes. I give Anne such grief about how much Stream Raiders she plays. Genshin is taking just as much time as Stream Raiders is in her life.
But here's the thing. It's that all the gameplay and stuff it gets is well deserved. It's weirdly enough, like you said, it come out of nowhere, and most games that come out of nowhere, you worry because if they haven't got that much funding for advertisement, they might not have much funding to polish the game.
Yeah.
But the game's really well polished. It's really fun to play.
It's not my kind of game, but like watching others play it, I agree. It's very well polished for what it is.
It's a gacha game. If you want the characters you want to get, be prepared to spend money. But it's still a free-to-play game at heart. You can keep playing and not put any money into it. Granted, it's a bit slow if you do it that way, but I play it that way. I haven't played in a long time,
Yeah.
but I played it that way and I still had just as much fun. And it's not just based on getting characters. Like, you have your dungeons, you have your exploration. There's a lot of exploration, and it just captures whoever plays it. Like, people might not play it, but very rarely we get someone that say they genuinely do not like the game.
Yeah.
You always get people that say they don't play it, it's not for them, but it's still a good game. It's a great
Now, we are heading into some very close territory now.
Oh, by the way, Genshin, my vote.
Genshin's your vote? Right.
Yes.
So now we're moving into action adventure. Now,
Here we go.
action adventure is different to just plain action games. Okay,
Yes.
so there's two categories. Action adventure is different. In the action adventure game, we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of. I always want to say Tsushima. It's a whole heap of dead fish floating around. No, Ghosts of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which once again I'll get to that in a minute.
Mhm.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2.
I'm also gonna preface this category with the description. Something important to remember. For the best action/adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
Yes.
That's important to remember. Go ahead.
So, this is where it gets tricky. All right. I'm just going to we're going to go through each game very quickly.
Yes.
So, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, from what I've seen in reviews, I don't get into the Assassin's Creed games much, but I've seen plenty of them.
It looks amazing.
Valhalla is actually getting very highly praised.
Yes.
So, Assassin's Creed is one of those games that go, woo, some of them have been really awful and some of them have been really bad. Like, I can think
examples, Brotherhood was great, 3 was awful.
And Unity was horrendous.
Oh, God, yeah.
People losing faces and all sorts of weird texture issues. Wonderful.
Unity.
Ghosts of Tsushima, gorgeous looking.
Yes.
It is a stunning looking game, right? It's beautiful. From what I've heard, though, its gameplay is limited.
Really?
That's what I've heard from people.
I've heard nothing but good things about that game.
I've heard overall great game, but there are some gameplay mechanic aspects that are very sort of like not expansive is probably the best word to put it. But overall, beautiful game. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay, here's my gripe with this.
I feel like we're gonna have the same opinion.
It's an expansion to a game. It's not another new game. It shouldn't be on this list.
It's been treated as an individual game, and in reality, it's just not.
It's not. It's not a new game, and so it will not get my vote.
We haven't discussed this process, by the way. It's just the fact that we have the same opinion.
That's my biggest gripe with it. Is it's not a new game. From what I've seen, it looks amazing, but there are problems with it. People think that the PS5 version's graphics actually look worse.
Really?
Yep. They've reskinned a lot of characters in the main game and they all look awful compared to what they look like on PS4.
Oh no!
So it's been a very controversial decision because it's not even a mild reskinning of people's characters. It's literally they look like two different people. From what I've seen, Peter Parker from the PS4 went from looking from whoever to looking like a really generic rip-off version of Tom Holland.
Oh no.
But not in a good way. It's like knockoff back alley game that you got burnt on a disc years ago kind of.
Oh no.
It just didn't look right from what I've seen. So yeah.
Oh, Marvel.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a gorgeous game.
Yes.
It is stunning. It is challenging. It fits this category perfectly. It's a great sequel to a great original game.
And from what I've seen about gameplay and what I've heard about gameplay, amazing.
Jedi Fallen Order, I heard it also looks amazing. It is tricky to play, I've heard.
It's a very Dark Souls-y kind of game.
It's a very dark, that's what I've heard as well. And then, of course, The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 is an amazing game. Okay? it's controversial for some reason.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons, but overall, you know, I'll give credit where credit is due. Naughty Dog had a hell of a time to follow up the original.
Yes.
The expectations were set at such a high bar for the sequel that there was no way they could satisfy every single Last of Us 1 fan. There's no way. Last of Us 1 will continue to be the pinnacle of gaming, or one of the pinnacles of gaming. It was an incredible experience, a well-made experience, from gameplay through to story-driven stuff to just every aspect of it. The music, it was a beautiful game. In saying that, if I had to pick out of everyone on this list, I personally would go Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. The gameplay is amazing. The mechanics are amazing. The story is amazing. The puzzles are challenging. It's visually, it's just eye catching.
The categories are voted based on gameplay, but even then, it looks amazing.
Like the gameplay is incredible. It's an incredibly well made game.
So that's your vote.
Yes, Ori. Yeah.
So I agree, but not on the vote. I also want to preface, I've not played any of these games, but from what I've seen, and it might be a surprise considering what we just spoke about. No, it's not Spider-Man, don't worry.
I would have just hit the end stream if you said Miles Morales. Cancelled.
Hashtag Cinder out. From what I've seen and from what I've watched and from what I've been told, my vote's actually going to go to Ghost of Tsushima because it is a gorgeous game from what I've seen and it looks very, very fun to play. In contrast to what you said, I've not heard anything bad about the gameplay, whether like duration or like context and what's actually in the game itself.
From what I've heard, the adventure side, perfect. The action side,
See, I've not heard that. All I've heard is good things, and from what I've seen, I can agree. It just looks. Plus,
I mean, all I've ever seen of it is someone riding a horse across an open field, all constantly. Like every video I see is a horse riding across an open field. I'm like, is this all this is? Is a horse simulator?
I also love the aesthetic, like the whole Asian aesthetic that it has is just amazing to me. I love that kind of design choice. There's a very close second for me, again, from what I've seen and heard, that being Jedi Fallen Order. I'm not a Star Wars fan. Not saying I don't like it, I'm just not caught up with it.
Yeah.
But it looks brilliant. It looks fantastic.
I've seen people play it. It's very well made.
I've seen one of my Twitch friends, shout out to Afro, he played it a few times on stream ages ago when it came out. It looked amazing. But Tsushima gets my vote because it just looks amazing and looks fun to play. And it's a game, out of those 5, I'd get it first. 5 or 6, but...
There's 6 games.
Yeah. Ori looks amazing, but I've not played the first one either, which I know is sacrilege, but...
They're gorgeous. Yeah. They're very well made games, and they've got very good stories.
Tsushima's my vote. It looks wonderful. I just think what the next category is. Right.
Next up, on my list, next up is action.
Yeah.
Okay, on action, we have Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4.
Heavy metal music plays. Doom Eternal, straight away.
Yeah, if I had to pick out, I would go Doom Eternal personally. I've seen a lot of that. It looks good. It plays. It's action more than you could ever probably imagine.
The 2016 reboot of Doom, that came out on Xbox One, PS4, and PlayStation, and eventually Switch. I played it on the Xbox. It was one of the first history lesson for my channel. It was one of the first ever games I've done a playthrough of when I was streaming directly from console. It was also the game where I done a whole stream with my mic off. That was fun. But wow. The Doom games I've always loved. I remember playing the original and being scared and hiding behind a chair of the computer when I was younger. Shout out to my parents, probably shouldn't let me play it in the first place, but hey. The Doom games, apart from 3, we don't talk about it, but the Doom games have always been fun. They've been amazing. And Doom Eternal is just, from the looks of it, just continues to be as badass as the 2016 Doom was, and more. And the multiplayer from the 2016 Doom was amazing, and I can only imagine from what I've seen, it's the same with this as well. Hades is a game everyone's talking about, and it looks good. It's very, I always get this term wrong, roguelite.
Yeah.
And Binding of Isaac was a similar type of game, and it was amazing back in day. That's a close second for me, but Doom Eternal gets it for me. Streets of Rage, side-scroller beat 'em up, fun for about 10 minutes. Neo 2, the original was fun. I watched my young brother play it in person. It was great. Half-Life? No.
I think that's more of a fan service than anything else.
Yeah. But Doom Eternal gets it for me, easily.
All right, so the next category, moving on.
What was your vote?
I said Doom Eternal.
Oh, yeah, never mind. This is a weird category. So, well, I assume it's... Wait, go on.
Innovation and accessibility?
Yes, recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
Okay, so these are the nominees. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, The Last of Us Part 2, Watch Dogs Legion.
There is a clear winner here for me, and it might not be what you expect.
Okay, so for me... and for a number of reasons from what I've seen of it, I would go with Grounded. Grounded, if it is the game I'm thinking, God, I hope it's the game I'm thinking, is the where you've like shrunk down and there's all like, yep, that's the one. Has so many accessibility features, including right down to if someone's arachnophobic, there's a setting to turn that.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Turn it down, and there's a few other settings, and
it's great because they become floating blobs if you do it all the way back.
So that's amazing. It opens it up for many people to play. The gameplay is really good. It looks good, and I think those kind of features and introducing a mode that will make it more accessible to people who do have a fear but want to play the game is a brilliant move on their behalf. I also think, rather than go for some of these mainline games, that's why I want to see something like this take it out. It encourages further development. It encourages studios to sort of get their act together kind of thing.
And not just push out a AAA game with generic settings. Grounded is a game where, considering the category we're talking about right now, sets it so forward from all the other nominees. From just purely, from everything else, purely from that one setting.
Yeah.
It's so accessible to everyone. Like you said, it might be a fun game looking to other people, but they have the most severe case of arachnophobia. That's fine, because you can change it. And the thing that makes that meter even better, not the fact that it's just a meter, there's also a button that's off by default, where once you change it, you don't have to look at it yet. You can change it, then look and see if it's appropriate.
Yeah.
It didn't need to have that much time put into that one setting,
no.
But they did. And I hope it paves the way for other companies, both indie and AAA, to care more about the people they're making the game for and their target audience. Because the people behind Grounded knew fully well, probably from the beginning, it's small. You're in a backyard. There's going to be insects. Some people have a severe fear of spiders.
Yeah.
We need to do something about this, and they did.
Well, that's the thing is, like, that game, like, when we're talking spiders, they went for wolf spiders, which are just like horrifically. Yeah, so it was like, oh, ew, all right.
But even if you do and you don't, it's still a threatening creature. If you have the arachnophobia meter all the way turned down to the point where it's two floating orange blobs that are connected to each other with googly eyes, you're still gonna run away from it because it's huge. and if you're not careful, it's going to fuck you up.
I don't know if you have a fear of oranges, you might be able to,
If you have fear of oranges and arachnophobia,
I was going to say, just put it in the middle. It's an orange with lots of legs. No, but yeah,
it's the most accessible game, and in a category titled Innovation and Accessibility, there's no close second place. There just isn't.
All right. Well, let's move on to VR and AR games. So we have Dreams, we have Half-Life Alyx, we have Marvel's Iron Man VR, we have Star Wars Squadrons, and we have The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
I only have one thing to say about this category. There's only one game here that I heard people enjoy in this category. And that was Half-Life Alyx. I've heard nothing about the other games.
I've seen some stuff done in Dreams that I just like, wow, that's incredible that you can do that. Dreams is that game where, like, I seen someone make that they could paint like the Master Sword, for example, from Zelda, and then grab it and use it.
That's very cool.
And I'm like that's just so as simple as that sounds. The amount of like the design behind that is like complex.
Yes.
Like literally, it's creating a reality, and then the game is adapting, going, okay, you've made a sword, so you can now pick this up.
It's like, from the sound of things, I hadn't heard of it at all until this vote. So from what you're explaining it as, it sounds like Scribblenauts but 3D.
Kind of.
And that sounds amazing. But I only voted for Half-Life because it's the only one I know of.
It's sandboxy. My vote's going to Dreams because I just think it's very innovative. But yeah, I've heard lots of people praise Half-Life Alyx. So
yes.
So let's just keep rolling along because some of these categories are a bit, community support. I'm going to be very biased here in a minute, and I can't help it. Community support. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant.
Before anything's said, shout out to the team behind No Man's Sky. They had, years ago, this is not a game that came out this year, so that's another great area.
Yeah.
But its release was one of the most jankiest releases for a game I think I've experienced in the last 20 years. They had such a negative response to the release of that game, but they stuck with it, and now it's one of the most fun games I've ever played. It works, it's fun, and I'd recommend it to other people.
The crazy thing about that is, hey Mark, how are you? The crazy thing about No Man's Sky is that game went from being a piece of crap, and that's the honest guy. I bought No Man's Sky on launch, and I was like, why did I buy this?
You're one of those sad people.
Yeah, I was like, because it like the lead up was like, oh my god, this game is going to be amazing. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Destiny in a lot of ways, and that sort of planetary exploration.
It's
kind of
definitely
stuff.
that audience.
And then I was like, all right, this is awful. I'm bored. I don't want to play this anymore. I've played it in the last 12 months. I can't remember when it was, but I did play it in the last 12 months.
Same.
And it is such a different game.
I might get back into it when I go home, I'll be honest.
It's really, really, really well done now. It's what it should have been in the first place, right? So that is almost enough to give it my vote, right?
However, the category is community support.
Exactly.
And I'm just going to say straight up, Fall Guys. Because the social media team behind Fall Guys, they can go from meme lords to, oh, you have an issue, let's try and figure this out, to meme lords again in a day. They are so fun to interact with and so fun to see post. Destiny 2, another game that has had its issues, I'll be honest. I know because I've played it.
Yeah.
But the community support behind it, there was a whole thing with Activision, which is a bit funky. But now that it's so focused on what they know what they're doing, they're constantly 100% open with issues that are going on, especially on Twitter from what I see, and they push to get fixed out. Apex Legends, they're constantly listening to their community, much to other people's contrary opinions. Fortnite can fuck off, and Valorant is another company. Riot doesn't get the best rep. They do listen to the community, they're just a bit slow.
Yeah.
But Fall Guys is just out of this 6 teams and games, second bar none.
Yeah, it's okay. Here's the thing: I'm gonna be biased, and only because I'm in that community significantly.
I know what you're gonna say,
and I know I've got the support of at least one person in the chat, maybe 2, but at least one, and that is Destiny 2. And the reason I'm saying that is they've been Bungie has always been very good at community support.
Yes, I've seen that.
You know, even from the early days of Destiny 1, they've always
That was such a good game.
changed things to adapt. They did go through their little dark period, and I can't say that they didn't with when it came to the Activision stuff. But now that they've come out this side, Beyond Light has definitely sort of reset things for them a bit now. You know, community involvement, things like the day one raid stuff that goes on, you know, and the idea behind charitable stuff and showcasing people's videos that they make in Destiny and the music they come up with. And
Bungie do care about their community. I will say that.
Every week they put out a blog. You see what's going on behind the scenes. You know, there's always updates. That's
what I mean by transparency. Bungie are great at it.
They're so good at that stuff. It's not often that we don't really know what's going on with how Bungie operate as a company. And that's what I like about it. It's very transparent. So if I had to pick, it would be Destiny 2.
The only reason I'm going Fall Guys is because they can do quite a bit of that and also appeal to new people looking into the game as well, just from social media and interactivity with community. They retweet people's skin ideas. Oliver Age 24 behind the social media account for Fall Guys. He on his own personal account he interacts with things based on Fall Guys as well.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who they are, and it's kind of like that personal connection with the people behind Fall Guys, and that's what I think pushed them over the edge with Bungie. I think I'm a little bit biased because I have more of interest in them since they were a smaller team, more focused team. But that's not to say that Bungie have not put the work in, because they've done amazing. And if Bungie win for Destiny 2, I'm not going to be sad. But my vote's going to go.
I do agree with Mark though. Crucible is a mess, but a lot of that's also got to do with all right. They've just introduced stasis, for example. Until they see how it performs in a real life scenario, they can only predict so much. Then they've got to adjust it, and then they'll adjust it, and then something will expose another weakness, and it's just an ongoing thing. At the moment, Crucible's very sort of not broken, but it does have its moments of like.
That's like with any multiplayer aspect of any game when you introduce something new, though. Like Call of Duty for a new gun, any MOBA when you add a character. Like it happens. You have your test teams, but you won't really know how the community reacts until you put it into the game. So you're going to get negative responses and positive responses to everything. But the fact that I'll give Bungie credit is they're quick with it.
Yes.
And they're transparent and honest with it. And
absolutely. And even since they've separated from Activision and that, they've spoken about that whole scenario, and they felt like at the time it was a good move for them to be able to do stuff. But in hindsight, it took away the soul of what Bungie is all about. And so they've now been able to go back to what made it great to begin with.
But they learn from that, and they're honest with that. They've said they've made a mistake. They're working with what they have, and they've learned from that, and it's great.
So, so for me, it's Destiny 2. Obviously, Luke has gone for Fall Guys. But Destiny 2, yeah. So now we're going to move on to mobile game. I have some gripes with this category as well for a number of reasons, okay?
I feel like I know what's going to be, but go on.
Okay, so mobile games. We have Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. Okay, here's my issue. Why is Among Us and Pokemon Cafe Mix on this list? Because they're not solely mobile games.
Neither is Genshin.
It's just I'm guessing part of the problem is they've been grasping for games on mobile. Because okay, Cafe Mix is designed for mobile, but it transferred well over to Switch.
I would argue that it's a mobile game that was ported to Switch as well.
It's the same thing that they did with Pokemon Quest. It was a mobile game, and they put it on Switch because it worked that way. Same with Among Us. I mean, you can play it on mobile, but it's better optimized on the PC. Let's be honest here. The mobile version is like, okay, if you are not able to pay the $4.99 or whatever the heck it is on Steam, here's a free version so you can at least participate.
Yes.
It doesn't. Anyway, let's just ignore the fact that 2020 has been a weird year for lots of things, and there's not a lot of mobile options and blah, blah, blah. If I was just to go down to pure the game itself, Genshin.
So here's my argument. My vote's different.
Yep.
And it'll probably surprise people to say it's not Pokemon Cafe Mix either.
I didn't go Cafe Mix either. I could have, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Cafe Mix is amazing, by the way. Like, I'm not saying
it's a good game.
It's fun, but it's
and
also...
as a mobile game, it captures the essence of a mobile game. It does it really well. Purely because one of the reasons you put for this game is one of the reasons why I actually voted for it. If you can't afford the game, there's a free version on mobile you can try. I have recently played it on mobile to get involved with a couple of friends to have fun, and it's still as fun. I couldn't get used to it straight away, but once you do, it's fine. Among Us.
Yeah. I mean, that's not my, and that's the thing. Like, it's not. I'm moving past the fact that they're both playable. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
If I did that, I'd be left with two games that I honestly have no idea what they are like, and I don't think I want to know.
Yeah.
It's literally the point of, okay, if I had to pick out of these games, I love Cafe Mix. I could be biased and say, hey, Pokemon, but it's not. It's not the best one on this list.
No.
Among Us is great that it has opened up the accessibility so that if people can't get it on their PC, they can play it on their phone. Or if they don't have access to the PC at the time, they can play it on their phone or whatever. That's fine. I think that's a wonderful feature. It's my second choice on the list. Genshin is just because it's Genshin. It's been so popular. It's doing well on everything that it's on. People are playing it, whether it's on their mobile, on a console, whatever. On PC, it looks amazing. It plays well. The
mobile community is also huge as well. Here's my gripe with Genshin on mobile, and it's something I have found out personally recently upon trying to play the game on Genshin on mobile. The data space required to play the game on mobile is that equivalent to a NASA supercomputer. It was okay. It took a while to install. And it turns out the long time I spent to install the game was a limited version where I could then choose to access the rest of the game, to get all the rest of the files. It's basically 3 or 4 times that the file space that I spent loads of time downloading. No matter what I deleted, I granted I have a lot of stuff on my phone, and it is a bit of an older phone, so memory might be limited, and that just comes down to accessibility. I'm not the only one that falls into this, I'm sure, that's found this issue. This space needed is just huge. Whereas Among Us is like a few hundred megabytes. That's it. You can get involved with people on PC. The accessibility just shoots it far forward, in my opinion. Genshin, the mobile audience is huge.
Yeah.
As well as PC and console and everything.
It depends, and that is Jelly, so it may not work on Jelly's phone, but it also, I guess it comes down to what software you're running, like how new your phone is. There's lots of just reasons why, because I can imagine it's probably very heavy duty.
Yes. So it probably wouldn't run on my phone. For those curious, I have an iPhone 7. I'm still behind. I'm like 75 years old. But like Among Us is just so easy accessible. It would not win were it not for the fact that mobile can't, if they couldn't interact with PC. But the fact that mobile players in Among Us can sets it forward for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my opinion on mobile game.
All right, we're just going to do a quick break in between the things so I can do an ad read. Because, that's a thing.
Thank you, Juju.
Thank you, Juju. I have actually been drinking my Juju during this. Which I'm actually having... What flavor did I want? Oh, I went cherry, that's right. So, Aura Guardians is proudly partnered with Juju Energy. We have been for quite a while now. So Juju is an energy drink that was designed for gamers, but it's, it can be used for everyday kind of stuff as well. It's healthy, it's high energy, and it's a focus formula. It's sugar-free and has natural caffeine. Juju, as I said, was formulated for gamers to increase focus, reaction time, energy, and overall performance. Juju was built for gaming, but is ready for everyday life. It works wonders, if you're in a classroom, gym, office, work, wherever. It's got a high dose of B, C, and D vitamins and antioxidants to help boost your immune system. Extra important during COVID, of course. People are having a lot of side effects from that, and it's vitamins and stuff. It might sound really silly. Eating healthy, drinking healthy does help keep your body somewhat, your natural immune system is something that's important as well. It's got great stuff for eye strain as well. So if you spend a lot of time looking at a computer, like a lot of streamers do,
Just gamers in general.
or gamers in general, the blue light that comes from that, it helps with that, helps your eyes. So yeah, so if you are interested in checking this product out, they have loads of different flavors. They've also got now got a merch line since the last time I spoke about the AuraCast. You can go to their website. It's jujuenergy.com, and you can use the code AGFAM, 10% discount. You guys get a discount. We get a little bit of a commission out of it as well, and you guys get a good product. They have now got variety packs of single sachet serves, so you can try a few different flavors. And they've got a limited flavor at the moment, which is a Mexican milk drink flavor that's got cinnamon in it. It's called horchata. I haven't had a chance to try it, but from what I've seen in reviews and that, it looks it tastes incredible apparently. So I'm hopefully going to get some at some stage. But yeah, so it's wonderful. So if you want to check it out, feel free to do so. But they have been wonderful to work with. So that is the Juju.
And side note, Oregon has not been asked to do this. It's something I've just thought of. If you do buy a Juju product, like whether it be drink or merch or anything, and you end up really liking it, let us know on Twitter and tag them and Aura Guardians. And it's just so we can see what you've been enjoying and we can share it around then. And then it just shows that you've been enjoying the product. So yeah.
My favorite flavor, blue raspberry. Wasn't able to get it my last order because it was sold out. That tells you how good it is. It was like one of the only flavors sold out. I'm like, All right. So we are now going to move on to, as we said at the start, this AuraCast is probably going to go a little bit longer than previous AuraCast because there's so much to cover the Game Awards. There's so much we want to talk about. We're not even going to get to talk about what predictions and announcements, but next week it will be more so where did we go right and wrong, if there was any controversies, and probably talking about all the plethora of announcements that's going to be made at the Game Awards.
There's going to be a controversy, I'm sure.
So yeah. All right, we are now on to another interesting category: debut indie games.
Cool. Let me scroll all the way back down.
So we have Carrion, Mortal Shell, Raji and Ancient Epic, Roki, and my personal favorite and my vote, without even hesitating, is Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia should take this out for a load of reasons. Okay. Yes, it's still in beta, right? However, it has had such a huge impact. It is such a great game for people to play together. It is being streamed and created some amazing content. It's got so much potential moving forward, and it's been created by a very small team, and it's just
a dedicated team.
It's so okay. It's so, for lack of a better term, it's so unique in what it is. This game is so different to every other game I've played. It is just such a, until you've played Phasmophobia, watching it is hilarious. Being in that scenario is both enjoyable and some of the most horrific stuff I've done.
Donna Wilson.
It's such a good game. Yes, it looks janky in some spots, like movement and crouch, but that's half the charm with this game as well.
Yeah. Yes, there might not be a run button, but
yeah, there's a sprint button. You just move like
it's a daunting jog.
I don't even look. I would call it a slight swaggering walk, but all right. The ghost is chasing you, and you're just like
walking like Conor McGregor out of nowhere. Who the fuck is this guy?
I honestly think, based on impact alone and uniqueness of game style, Phasmophobia should win this.
I of the same mind. That's my vote. I'm not going to expand any further because the same reasons you said, the same as my reasons. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this game as I play it because it's going to be so interesting to see where they go. But please, developers, just fix the back end of the game a bit more, please, because
it has got some janky issues, some audio compatibility issues. Loading times is probably my big gripe because you can literally load into the game and be in the lobby area within 30 seconds. Loading into new maps that you haven't played during that is very slow.
Never before have I seen the term 99% for so long.
No, I haven't had a chance to try out the prison map yet, Mark,
haven't either.
But I am on Tuesday with a group of friends. I'm also, and this is hot off the presses, I've told nobody this yet, I am hoping to get together 4 members of AG to do an AG Phasmophobia stream.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So, you know who I'd really love to drag in there kicking and screaming? Silent. More than anyone
Silent,
else.
please join.
After seeing Silent play Emily Wants to Play 1 and 2, I would love to see Silent play Phasmophobia.
He's a bully.
I would get up, because I know the Odd Squad stream at an awful time. I would get up at 2 a.m. and play Phasmophobia just so I could get Silent to play Phasmophobia
Oh my god, so
on
would
stream. It would be worth every ounce of lack of sleep, okay? Like, so it's something I'm going to work on, because I think content-wise, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, debut game, Phasmophobia, easily.
So now we move on to ongoing game.
Okay.
So we have Apex Legends, we have Destiny 2, we have Call of Duty Warzone, we have Fortnite, we have No Man's Sky.
This looks very similar to a previous category.
This is really tricky for me, because I am of 2 mindsets. I'm either going to say skip the indie category. Whoops.
Oh, well done.
Indie. Okay, we'll go back to the indie category. We'll do ongoing game, then we'll go back to the indie category, because the last one was debut. So, I would say it's between, for me, Destiny 2 and No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has made the biggest leaps and bounds in the last couple of years. It went from the most hated game on the planet that year because of its lack of anything,
and then many years of its death, pretty much.
Yep. To being able to reset and create a gaming experience that is actually incredible. On the other side of things, ongoing wise, Destiny and Destiny 2 as a franchise is in its 7th year now.
Oh my god.
And it's still got a huge fan base.
And the lore behind it that everyone's still breaking down to this day.
It continues to be just a juggernaut of a franchise. And even Destiny 2 has had its problems, but as time has gone on, they've been able to improve upon that and fix it and bring back what people enjoyed about Destiny 1. So, as much as it pains me, I'm actually going to give it to No Man's Sky.
Really?
Because it's such a resurgence story.
Yeah, okay.
They have done so much work and listened to the complaints and listened to the bullying and listened to the harassment and let's bear in mind here as well, and this is the swaying factor here, none of these updates have cost a cent to the consumer.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And that's what swayed me, is that they have gone, putting it bluntly, we fucked up, we're going to fix it.
You're starting to slightly sway my opinion, but I'm sticking with my choice.
Yeah.
I was of a similar mindset of like those two. I'll also throw in Apex in that ring as well, because they've also had their ups and downs. But it remains, in my opinion at least, to still be a very fun game to play. Mm. My vote went to Destiny 2 purely because, like, the No Man's Sky, very fun. They've come back from a place where, let's face it, hardly any games have come back from.
No game should ever come back where they came back from with the success level they've had. And
with the drop they had at the beginning as well. But the fact that people are still talking about Destiny from this day on, much more so than they are No Man's Sky, and there's so much stuff that's been shown now with what is it, Beyond Light?
Well, with Beyond Light, even like, and this is them listening to what they put, there's been some characters that have come back from, for example, and it's not going to spoil anything as such because it's in all the trailers and everything, the Exo Stranger is back. Now, the Exo Stranger was the one that appeared at the end of the main campaign in Destiny 1 when you beat the Black Garden campaign. She is back. You know, and so they're tying up, they're still connecting all these little bits of lore, and then you get this new bit of lore, and it's like, oh my god, they were already talking about this way back then, and it's such a well planned, well thought out, and even if some aspects have suddenly gone, oh, we need something to connect this, they've done it so fluidly that it's
And
like
you've got a whole community talking about like where is the connection. They're trying to figure it out like hourly, like even now, I'm sure. And because of that, Destiny 2 just gets it for me over No Man's Sky because it's still being talked about now, 7 years on.
It pains me to not pick Destiny 2, but it's just
I'm surprised you didn't.
The No Man's Sky story is just a comeback story and done in a very user-friendly way. As I said, the cost has been zipped to the consumer, and they made mistakes and they fixed it and they excelled at fixing it. They set the bar too high at the start. They set the bar way too high. They've met that bar and they've exceeded that bar.
Yes.
So, indie game. Sorry that we skipped over that. So we have Carrion, Fallout, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Spelunky 2, Spiritfarer.
So many good games here.
Because of its popularity, I've got to go Fall Guys, and it's only
because of impact. Fall Guys
and impact. There's not a lot of contesting here, unfortunately. I feel sorry for some of the other indie games because
Hades is close.
Yeah, it's gonna be Fall Guys. There could be a shock here. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty much convinced it's gonna be Fall Guys.
Yeah.
So games for impact. Okay, can you please tell me what that is?
For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
Okay, I actually know nothing about these except one.
Same.
So we have If Found, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition. There's a name.
What's the best name?
Spiritfarer, Tell Me Why, and Through the Darkest of Times. I know a bit about Spiritfarer.
I vote for Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer it looks amazing. I think that probably could win this.
Spiritfarer, if I remember correctly, deals with death in a very unique way.
Yes.
In a way that no game, to my recollection, has ever done it before. It's almost morbidly charming.
Sorry, every time I hear the word charming, I just think of Charming Boat. Everything is morbidly charming.
It's morbidly pulling and interesting, considering what the base topic is about. But you want to learn more about the game.
Yeah.
And it just looks so... it feels weird to say because of the topic, but it looks fun.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
But... It's thought-provoking, though, and that's what this category is all about. So, for me, it's Spiritfarer. Easily. Yeah. Okay, now we're getting into the top tier stuff. We're going to try and get through this. Performance.
Best performance. Awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and/or performance capture.
So, we have Ashley Johnson as Ellie in The Last of Us 2. Laura Bailey as Abby, The Last of Us Part 2. I'm going to butcher this name.
Say it?
Go on.
Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai in Ghost of Tsushima.
Logan Cunningham, Hades in Hades. Naji Jeterum, Miles Morales in Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay. This is where Last of Us 2 is probably going to take this.
Yes. The fact they have two nominees in the first place.
It's hard for me to pick between the two. I have watched this. I haven't played it. I watched a good friend of mine, Kaylee, play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never been so gripped by a game like this. And the performances speak volumes in this.
If we'd have rewound a good few years ago, it would have been the same for Telltale's The Walking Dead. It's like kind of that level, but more. I
am going to say Ashley Johnson.
I have also voted for Ashley Johnson.
Laura
Bailey's done so well.
It's brilliantly done, but I have to give credit to Laura Bailey. Abby is such a love-to-hate character. I don't want to spoil too much for The Last of Us, but it is just... it's so well done. You know,
I also want to give credit to Daisuke Tsuji for Jin Sakai and Tsushima, because it just embodies the character so well. That's all I can really say about it, because it's not really like, it's not as character driven focused as The Last of Us is, because it's a story driven, character focused game, whereas Tsushima's very action focused. But it's immersive hearing the character.
yeah.
But Ashley Johnson definitely gets my vote, but that's not to take credit away from Laura, because my God, that game.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, that one. Audio design. Now,
All the other nominees can go. Like,
audio design is different to score and music. So audio design.
Yes. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design.
Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghosts of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, The Last of Us Part 2. Go on then.
Doom
Flap
Eternal,
your arms around.
Easy. Doom Eternal gets it by a mile, because there's no... This could sound really bad. I promise I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Alright, this is getting... Alright, go on.
Doom music, same for 2016. Doom, there's no other game music that makes you more kill things than Doom's music.
True.
Doom's music, no, most of the time, in games like Doom, it will be very overwhelming with everything coming at you at once. You don't have a break. Doom, the music pushed you to go even further, keep punching, keep kicking, keep shooting without a break, and keep going while screaming with demon blood splattering right over your face. There's no other game that does music like that.
From watching playthroughs again, and it's not going to be like this the whole way through for me. Last of Us 2 sound design, it makes that game just head to another echelon of just gaming perfection, and that's the honest truth. It's so well done. It adds that suspense or that drama or that emotion to it. So for me, I would go Last of Us 2 in this category.
It should, for me, it should do Eternal, just the sound of weapons and the sound of hitting demons and the sound the demons make themselves. It's a proper feeling of, oh shit, I've got to do something or I'm dying type thing. And it's just, it's so immersive because of that.
So now we move on to score and music. For
outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack.
So we have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Couple of comments I want to make. One, why the hell is Final Fantasy here? No.
Lani again is dying somewhere.
Sorry, Lani, but no. Two, Ori's very close. And I will not be mad if Ori wins, and I will not be mad if people vote for that. But for the same reasons as the previous award, Doom Eternal, heavy metal music fits that game perfectly. There's a certain song from the 2016 Doom, which I'll always remember, because for those that are musically inclined, it's just Gent, the song. It's great. And it sets the scene perfectly. But I will not be sad if Ori wins.
My vote is 100% going to Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Yeah. Those games nail music more than anything else. I have not felt so just... I haven't played Will of the Wisps, but I've heard music in it and I've seen people play it, but I have played Ori and the Blind Forest. The music in those games is just so well crafted and so well fitting for the scenarios, whether it's a dark moment, a sad moment, an uplifting moment. You know, it takes you on that journey that Ori is going through. It's mind blowing how good that music is. So that for me, it's Ori and Will and the Wisps.
Danny, I'm not stabbing Lani, I'm stabbing Final Fantasy. There's a difference.
So now we move on to art direction.
For outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. That's important.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Nope.
Ghosts of Tsushima. Hades. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And The Last of Us Part 2.
Hades is close because the art design is amazing. But Ori gets it for me.
Ori is absolutely for me as well. Ori is just so well done. It's beautifully done. You know, look, the art in that is unique. It's just visually captivating. It just moves well. The animation is like gorgeous. It's sharp. It's just everything about the way that game looks is amazing. It's a close for me because Last of Us Part 2 is just gorgeous. Like, it's so well done.
Mm.
But absolutely, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is gorgeous art wise. If we're talking just pure artistic style, it wins hands down. It's just so good. So now we're into the last 4 categories. Narrative.
For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game.
13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Ghost of Tsushima. Hades. And Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2 for me.
It has to. It has to. It's that ongoing story of Ellie dealing with her current life, being haunted by the things that went on in her past in part 1, dealing with an ever ongoing threat, dealing with her own relationships. It's a complex and very well done story. It continued what was so magic about number 1, in my opinion, and I was just gripped by every moment of it. It's consistent. Yeah.
Same reasons.
It's so well done.
Yeah.
So yeah. Most anticipated game.
Oh, have we skipped one?
No.
Oh, I don't know where this is. I can't find this, but keep going while I have a look.
Okay. Elden Ring from Software Bandai Namco. Halo Infinite, 343 Xbox Game Studios. Horizon Forbidden West, Guerrilla Games, Sony Interactive Entertainment. God of War sequel, Sony Interactive Entertainment Santa Monica. Resident Evil Village, Capcom. And The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel from Nintendo.
I don't know on that one.
This is tricky. This is really tricky for me. The one that's not on that list, as much as people will probably want to claim it would be, it's not for me. Halo Infinite. The Halo franchise has not got what it used to have. It's just not. I'm hoping they can pull it back, but 343's reputation when it comes to developing the Halo games has not been stellar overall. Hopefully they can bring it back. Maybe. I don't know what Elden Ring is. We'll never clue.
I don't know much about it.
Horizon, I understand. The first game was so well received. God of War, people like those games. I understand. I'm so excited for Resident Evil Village because I loved Biohazard. And it's going to be in that same mindset. But for me, the anticipation of the next Legend of Zelda set in the same frame as Breath of the Wild is just, I want that. Breath of the Wild Part 2, whatever they're going to call it, is what I want.
I can't find it here, but my vote would be actually for Horizon. Purely because it just looks stunning. Like, it seems to have taken from the previous game what was good and enhanced it. And it just looks like it's going to be one of the most fun games.
There's a number of deserving games on this list. If Horizon got it, I would be fine with it. If Resident Evil got it, I would be fine with it. If Zelda gets it, obviously I'll be fine with it. God of War, maybe. If Halo gets it, I can't get my head around it other than the nostalgia factor playing a big thing in it. But after how badly Halo 5 Guardians was received, and knowing that it's still 343 developing it, and I love Bungie, but this isn't a Bungie fanboy thing. This is a purely the first 3 developed by Bungie were incredible and stand the test of time.
Yes, especially
Halo. Absolutely. Halo 4 and Infinite are really struggling to just... Halo 4 and Halo 5 Guardians
Halo 4 wasn't terrible.
It
just
wasn't the
best.
worst, but it wasn't the best either. It
didn't live up.
It was in the middle range, you know. Yeah. So for me, it's kind of like, yeah. Any of those, but my vote's going to Breath of the Wild. Your vote's going to Horizon. So we're down to the last two. The next one is game direction.
Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
Final Fantasy VII Remake
Fuck off.
by Square Enix. Ghost of Tsushima by Sucker Punch. Hades by Supergiant Games. Half-Life Alyx by Valve. And The Last of Us Part 2 by Naughty Dog.
My opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of Sucker Punch before Tsushima?
Yes, and I'm trying to think what they made. Shit.
Well, I hadn't.
I had, and I'm trying to think what they made. It's probably a game that I've played, but I have heard of Sucker Punch, yes.
But Ghost of Tsushima just is so unique and different. Hades, great game. It's a roguelike. Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's a remake. No, get out of the list. Tsushima just seems to
Infamous. Is that what they made? Sucker Punch made Infamous. Okay, now I know. Yes. Okay.
Oh, I never played Infamous. But Tsushima just stands out in that game
Sly. Oh, I knew I'd heard. That's okay. That's where I've heard it from.
Okay.
Sly Raccoon. Oh my god, I love those games.
It just,
wow, they've developed such a different game. Oh my god. All right, go on.
Tsushima just stands out in that list compared to any of the others.
For me, if we're going down innovation, as good as Last of Us 2 is, it's not innovative. It's continuing on something. You know,
that's the same issue I have with Final Fantasy.
It's not a remake, obviously, like Final Fantasy is. Final Fantasy doesn't. I don't even know why it's in this list.
It shouldn't be on there. It shouldn't be there.
But yeah, Last of Us 2 is innovative in the fact that it's graphically beautiful. It did enhance things from the previous game in regards to combat and things like that. However, it's not that innovative. If I had to go with anything on this list, yes, I would have to agree with you and say Ghost of Tsushima. Just purely based on what they've done.
Yeah.
As a studio. So,
it's the big one.
Final category is the obvious one, which is Game of the Year.
Recognising the game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields.
We have Animal Crossing New Horizons from Nintendo, Doom Eternal from ID Software, Final Fantasy VII Remake from Square Enix.
Shouldn't be there.
Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch, Hades from Supergiant Games, and The Last of Us Part 2 from Naughty Dog.
Minus Final Fantasy VII Remake, this is a very tough one. To most people. To me, this was a no-brainer. This game came out in March of this year and saved 2020 for about almost all of the gaming population. If Animal Crossing does not get Game of the Year, I will riot. This game, I'll let you talk in a moment, don't worry. This game has saved 2020 for a lot of people. There was a reason a lot of people were petitioning for the game to release early, which was hilarious. It made 2020, as a weird year as it was, bearable at least for so many people when they needed it the most. I would argue that even if this whole thing in 2020 didn't happen, it could still get Game of the Year because, one, it was a well sought after sequel. Every Animal Crossing game, to an extent, has been an amazing game. It has never been rushed. There has been quite a bit of time between each release. The fact that everything works is amazing. The multiplayer aspect works wonderfully, even though it can be a bit slow. The enjoyment factor, just getting involved with everything, the simplicity, but the fun you can get from it, the events you get throughout the year, the longevity of the game because of that, the different characteristics of the animals. I could just keep going for ages and ages. But Animal Crossing, by far, saved 2020 and deserves this award. Simple.
Okay.
Oh, your opinion's different. Okay.
No,
let's
no,
go.
no, 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 no. Here's my thought process. I think it's going to be a 2-horse race.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be close between a few of them on the list, but I think it's going to be a 2-horse race at the end.
Between.
I think it's going to come down to Animal Crossing and Last of Us 2.
I can see that.
Now, let me just say what I'm going to say about both games, and then I'll give you my vote. Let's start with Last of Us Part 2.
Yes.
Last of Us Part 2 is a near perfect game in a lot of ways. It has a very, very strong, powerful narrative, excellent gameplay, continuing on something that was incredibly hard to follow up on because of how good the first part was.
Yes.
Compelling characters, heart-wrenching decisions,
Yes.
heart-wrenching story pieces. It also, and this is where it gets controversial with a lot of people, it furthered the development of Ellie and her sexuality, which was not a secret for those who had played the expansion part to part 1.
Yeah.
Left Behind, that's the word I was trying to think. It expands upon many aspects of people's lives, as in like dealing with their sexuality, dealing with family versus commitment to other things. It was visually, music. It was a very well crafted game, and this is no surprise coming from Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog know how to make games, and that's no secret.
I'll agree.
It's thought-provoking, it's emotionally driven, and
it's created conversation all over the internet.
It has had such an impact, whether it's positive, negative, critical, whatever. It is critically acclaimed. It is an incredible experience. Even if you haven't played it, to watch someone play it, especially someone who is very connected to the game, is one of the greatest experiences.
Yeah.
So, Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yes.
I agree with Luke. Animal Crossing, okay, as a franchise, Animal Crossing is in that middle echelon overall, in that it's not often in that high, game of the year and all that kind of category, but it's not a shit game franchise either. It's always been in that sort of middle ground until we hit this game.
Yes.
This game hit at the right time. I still think it would have been successful, but it hit at a time when people were craving something wholesome. They were looking for something to take themselves out of what 2020 has been as a year. It has created one of the most just lovely, friendly, happy communities I have ever seen in any game ever. It is community driven. It is artistically driven. It is family driven.
Yes.
It is something that you can come back to. You don't have to commit to. If you want to have if you want to have a break and then you come back in a couple of weeks' time. I mean, sure, your villagers will tell you, where have you been, and
and you might have a few weeds to pick up,
a few weeds to pick up and things like that. They keep bringing more content to it. It's still selling like crazy. It come at a time that helped a lot of people through being in lockdowns. It come at a time when people were struggling emotionally, and it brought people closer. The little stories of people holding birthday parties in Animal Crossing because they couldn't gather together with their family and friends.
Oh my god, yeah. I almost cried at a party held for me by villagers the other day.
The little things like that, and the Easter events, and the Thanksgiving events, and all those little things that have been going on, and sharing stories about, I got this villager and I got that villager. And
I understand the personality of every single one of my islanders because of communicating with them. I know I can say, oh, meet this person. Like, this person wants to be a celebrity one day and likes to do music and fashion. Yeah. Like, it's so weirdly immersive.
It's just it's simplistic in nature, but it's diverse in what you can do in it.
Yes.
It's very accessible to people. So in that mindset, and just speaking pure impact, positive, non-toxic, friendly, good gameplay, beautiful art style, continuing on a franchise that is loved by the people who play it, expanding into new horizons, and then and bringing new people in, showcasing the amazing ability that the Switch has to play it mobile or docked, streamability, playing it with others, playing it alone, the ability to pick it up at any time and then put it down and not feel like you're going to get behind. Animal Crossing has to win it. Animal Crossing has to win it this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it has had such a huge impact on so many people, and in a positive way that no game, to my knowledge, has been able to do. There is no toxicity, or if there is, it's so minuscule, nobody takes any notice of it. That game has nailed it.
The sense of community to it. I have an app on my phone where I can log things that I've collected and get in contact with other people if there's an item I need and there's a market there. Like the whole idea of like people making designs that they share and that gets retweeted on Twitter and shared on Instagram under certain hashtags that people can download themselves. Like, everyone in this game makes something and they can make it for other people to enjoy. And there's nothing in this game that you can do where you lose. There's nothing that will set you back. It's a game you can do anything in at your own pace. There's no time limit on that you need to get things done by. There's no sense of, oh, I have to get this done. Well, there is for me because I need to expand my house, don't I?
Well, but it's also it's heart-wrenching for me when you go back and then a villager's like, I want to leave. I'm like, no, don't leave me.
I had that either today or yesterday with one of my OG villagers, and they were like, I'm thinking of leaving.
Flora, one of my OGs was like, I'm thinking about leaving. I'm like, no, you must stay now. You do not leave me. And they were like, oh, I'm staying. It's like,
it was Biff for me, Biff the hippo, the exercise fanatic, and he was like, I don't know if I should go. I'm like, please stay. But like, it's so wonderful, just a wonderful time. And I don't think there's ever a time I've played that game and not had a good time with it, whether I played it for 10 minutes or whether I've had a session for like 5 hours.
Here's the other thing. I'm going to preface this, or I'm going to follow up with saying what I said, that Animal Crossing has to win. If Last of Us 2 wins, I can accept that, and absolutely, because it is a quality game.
It's a masterpiece of it's a masterpiece of an experience as well. It's a
exactly. Story. It's not just the gameplay; it's the story as well.
Yes.
And those two mesh together well. But for me, if I had to put as a whole package, including its accessibility and everything else, to me, it's Animal Crossing hands down. And I never thought that I would be saying that about an Animal Crossing game. I honestly never thought that would be me sitting here going, for the love of God, Animal Crossing needs to be Game of the Year. Never would have thought it.
I've played the games in the past. The main game I played before ages ago was Wild for the original DS.
Yeah.
And I played quite a bit of New Leaf for the 3DS, but Wild was the first Animal Crossing I played a lot of in my own time for years. Never played the GameCube one because I never had a GameCube. RIP. And I think there was another one, or like a side game. But Wild, I played through the times where there was a whole joke of Animal Crossing is, quote, a girl's game. I never understood that.
No.
But, like, I guess that was the main toxicity. But, like, toxicity back then is different to now. Like, it was all face-to-face and everything. And it was all foreign-based. I sound old. I'm not, I promise. 24 now, yay.
Shut up. I'm 31.
But it's always had that sense of togetherness and community, whether that be people you play with or just the villagers that you interact with. They feel like people because you learn what they like, you learn what they don't like, you learn their personalities. You see, I'll see a villager in the distance, I'm like, oh, I'll go talk to them. I haven't spoken to them today. You're interested to see what they say. And the game now has gone past the whole only certain people can play this game, because everyone's playing New Horizons.
Yeah.
And other games have come out where more people have played them over time. Like, I love Pokemon, but Pokemon has this issue of gatekeeping, where like certain games, like how dare people that have just gone into it go back to the original games and say that they love the games because they didn't grow up with it. Who cares? But there's nothing like that in Animal Crossing. New people have come to New Horizons, and the older fans, myself included, but the more so vocal ones, have been, welcome to the game. We hope you enjoy this community. Is there anything you need help with? We can help you. There's no other game, no other series that does that.
No.
At all.
And I agree with you there. You know, as a Pokemon fan and a Pokemon streamer, more so than anything these days, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there's people out there that's saying, well, Pokemon didn't make it onto the list this year of anything, and I you know why? You know what? I don't think it deserved it this at all. There's been
I also agree. I think Gen 8 was great, but it did have its flaws, and I'm not sad to see it not on any awards.
The only thing I would potentially say, and that's just because it's consistent across all games, is maybe it should have had some sort of music nomination, because the music in Sword and Shield is incredible. The Dynamax music and the
gym battle music
exactly is incredible, but it's still up against very like stiff competition this year.
Doom Eternal.
Last of Us, you know, Ghost of Tsushima.
It was not going to make it on the list.
It wasn't going to make it on the list. You know, if there had not been quite as many of those kind of games this year, it potentially could have got some music nominations. But there's no way on God's green earth it should have had any other sort of nomination. I love the game. It has its flaws. But, you know, if anyone was wondering why I haven't addressed this until now, it was like, there's no mention of it here because it doesn't deserve to be there. And that's...
I 100% agree. I love Pokemon series. I've loved it since Generation 1. I still have things that I really do like about X and Y as much as I rag on the games.
Yeah.
Like the conversations come up, like with Riley, for example, like I still like parts of the games.
Yeah.
And I think as a fan, not just me, but just anyone, a fan of the series, they have a right to say parts they don't like about the game. It confuses me when people are like so... There's a difference between being a fanboy and being toxic. And being a fanboy is fine. Being toxic and saying everything's fine, how dare you hate on a game, is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, as much as we've bagged Final Fantasy VII Remake, if there's people who like that game and like everything about it, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying that, you know, in my opinion, it's gotten into a lot of categories it probably shouldn't have, given, you know, its remake status. But, you know...
That's our opinion. It's gotten to the list for a reason.
Exactly. Does it have some of the qualities that these categories... Yes, it does. But it's still... It's in that grey area for me. You know, if this was considering it in an Oscar category, you know, like, and that's a really obvious thing to consider, it wouldn't have made it into any of these. Like, you know,
Final Fantasy VII, rightfully so, is deemed as one of the golden games of the series.
Yes,
and I understand why.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's where the world is wonderful because everyone has their own opinions.
Yeah.
For me and Beast personally, like he's just said, we many awards that Final Fantasy's in that we think we're surprised to see it there. But again, it's gotten there for a reason. And Pokemon's a great game. It's not up for any awards. That's perfectly fine because Sword and Shield was far from perfect.
Yeah.
Do I love it? Yes. Is it perfect? Fuck no.
No.
But the main point that we're making is Game of the Year, Animal Crossing. The only gripe I have with it is multiplayer can be a bit slow connecting.
Oh, I love standing at the airport. It's like, I just want to go to some one of these islands. Stop telling me to wait while you connect to the internet and flap your wings at it and you're not even typing on the keyboard.
I love watching the blinking light meter.
Oh, it's lovely. Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. That is. Oh, my God. That's probably the worst part of Animal Crossing. If that's the only thing I can complain about is getting to someone's island. And it's so funny. Like, I'll connect to your island. It's like, yeah, all right, that's pretty quick. I connect to Larissa's island in Australia, and I feel like I've flown there. Like, it's like, for the love of God, will you just tick across the screen so I can get
the thing
the
I
island?
Do to make it easier. The thing I do to make it easier on myself is I imagine like stereotypical lift, like elevator music, like dun 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 dun. Like it's great, and it gets me through it. But like, apart from that, I can't really think of anything bad Animal Crossing does.
No, there's not really. There's not.
Last of Us is great as an experience, but Animal Crossing is a game that people are going to be playing for years on end, like Wild World, like the GameCube edition, like New Leaf.
Yeah.
It has events all year round. There's never a time to not get into it.
Exactly.
So
No.
yeah, game of the year for me, Animal Crossing.
Well, we need to wrap up because we have been straight. This is the longest AuraCast we've ever done by a significant margin.
I look forward to you uploading this to YouTube.
Oh God. It will be out for next week's episode. So anyway, just to wrap up very quickly, if you've missed any parts of this or want to re-listen to our thoughts, there are many ways to do that. We do upload these to the Aura Guardians YouTube channel, and it is available on several audio podcast providers: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and there's a couple others that may actually be available for me now. I'll have to double check, so I won't confirm them unless I can actually do that.
And now, if you want more information or you've missed something and you think of going to the website to check, you now can, since the new website is now live.
The new website is live. It details all of our team members. It also details about our community and about
what the team's all about.
Also has a page dedicated to the AuraCast, so there are some details there as well. If you have any questions or anything, the best way to get hold of any of us basically is in the AG Discord. If not, you can also tweet. We do have a Twitter account for the Aura Guardians. Luke and I both have our Twitter accounts as well. If you have any thoughts about what you think guesses-wise, we'd love to hear them before next week's. Don't put them out after the Game Awards have aired. That's cheating. I'm watching you, whoever you're doing that. No. And so next week we will go through and have a look and see how we fared in getting them. If there's any controversy, we will talk about that. We're not going to talk about every category because otherwise it'll be another ridiculously long. And not just that, there are going to be a ton of announcements from the Game Awards. So that's going to be incredibly exciting to see what's going to come out there. So other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. We're back. We will keep you up to date. It should be every week. The only time it might not be is over Christmas because I don't know when the Saturday falls and I haven't actually looked.
Yeah. If there's any reason where an AuraCast can't happen, Twitter is the best place to check, and or Discord.
Yes.
But we will let you know beforehand anyway.
And so so this has been DragonBeaz.
And this has been Cinder. Bring Gen 4 remakes, and we'll see you.
God,
I'm doing it every episode. We'll see you next week.
Gen 7. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching, and be safe.